Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at Emerson College and I'm delighted to be joined by Gabriela with the fantastic movie Bertie the Brilliant. But for those that haven't seen it, let's take a look at the clip.
Nothing is impossible if you believe.
That was magnificent.
I declare there is magic in the air.
I have to see him.
Jerry finds out that I'm bringing you to work, he'll fire me in a heartbeat.
It's one night only.
If you help out around the house and you pay a little bit more attention to your reading, I can give you a small allowance.
What if I can't do it?
Keep working hard for what you want.
El que persevera, triunfa.
Prepare to be surprised. Now watch the magic unfold before your eyes.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming all the way from London to be here.
Pleasure.
Oh my goodness, I'm in love with your film. Like, I'm serious, it's so good. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us a little bit about Bertie the Brilliant.
So Bertie is a story of a little boy who is obsessed with this gender fluid magician, and he wants to go to their show, but he doesn't have money to go. So he has to figure out how to raise $60 so he can go to the show. But then his abuela, his grandma's sewing machine breaks down, and so he has a really difficult decision to make. And it's inspired by real life. It's inspired by my cousin. I grew up in Cuba, and in the 90s, my cousin, things were really difficult in Cuba. There wasn't a lot of food around. And anyway, she raised money for this one thing and ended up spending it on milk for my great-grandparents because food was so difficult to come by. And that emotion of that story just really stayed with me, and I wanted to use that in something, and so I created Bertie.
Oh my, but I mean, you gave us magic. Like, it was magic to watch on the screen, and the whole design, the world that you created for us was just I was just in it. Like, did you kind of know, like, taking it from a story that's really personal to you, did you know how you wanted to kind of envision how you wanted to look?
Yeah, so I do a lot of prep work, and I am very meticulous and very intentional. And I think as any filmmaker, but especially as a Latina female filmmaker, I hold myself to a very high standard, and everything I create has to be exactly the way I imagine it in my head, because I want everyone who sees my work to realize that the reason there's not more of us in the industry is not because of our lack of talent, but because of our lack of resources. And so I have a really strong intentionality for every single part of the creative process. And I create color palettes, and I create mood boards, and I have like 1,000 images on Pinterest that are split up into different like costumes and this and that. And so when I have music, I have soundtracks that I want to use to inspire my team. Like, this is the tone, this is the style. And so from that, my team feels very inspired. Yeah. And they take that, and then I have this like desire to articulate this vision, but I also love my team and I trust them so much. And so once I give them all of this wealth of creative ideas, then I trust them to execute something that is aligned. And sometimes they inspire me and they're like, oh, what about this? And it's way better than what I would have thought of. And I love my team. So I think something that makes it magical is I don't just want to create a beautiful magical experience in front of the screen. I want the process to be beautiful and magical as well. And so I've had the same team from my first film, on my second film, on my third film. And so we sort of trust each other and we create magic together. Yeah,
you create, I mean, that's amazing. That's like the dream set right there as well. But no, your attention to detail was, I mean, I had to pause it at times because I was just, your attention to detail, the set, the design was so exquisite. I wanted to take it all in. It was that good. Now tell us, I mean, I've still got your songs in my head, okay, in a really great way, and I was so mesmerized to be like, on top of everything that you've already put into this film, you wrote those songs as well?
I did. So originally there was a song that I had in mind by an artist from Italy named Raffaella Carrà from the 70s. And I wanted this 70s tone to the film, but like a fun, poppy, like animated sort of 70s tone, and I couldn't get the rights to her song. And I've gotten rights to other songs in the past for other films, and it's kind of a pain in the butt because you have to pay for the licensing fees, you have to find who owns the master rights, who owns the sync rights, then you have to pay for festival fees, then if you distribute, you have to pay for distribution fees. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna write the music and then I'm just gonna own it.
Yeah.
And because it was sponsored by 150 Warner Media, they gave me access to their music library. And so I was able to find tones musically that were aligned to the Rafaela Carrà song that I was inspired by. And then I just wrote lyrics in English and Spanish to sort of show, and it couldn't have been better because a Rafaela Carrà song would have been great, but the lyrics I wrote, again, were very intentional to the story and to the magic of the film. So it always just works out.
I just think you're amazing because I mean, doing all that is a lot, but I mean, well done. I mean, those songs, I just want to hear them. I want to have them on my iTunes. Listen, I thought again, it's from the set, but your cast. I mean, they all just, each of them in their own individual ways, just jumped off the screen. Tell us a little bit about how you brought them all together. I mean, super talented group you got there.
So the woman who played Rosa, her name is Cheryl.
She's lovely.
And I've used Cheryl. I went to UCLA with Cheryl as an undergrad. We were in a Latino theater company in LA together for many years, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And she's my muse. I use her for a lot of things. So she's been in my first film. There was not a role for her in my second film, so I created a little cameo for her. And then in this one, I wrote this role, and I was like, Cheryl, this is for you. And the grandma Terry, she's been in lots of film and television. Like, I think she's been like on One Day at a Time. She was in what is that old movie with Warren Beatty, Bull? That one. We'll put it in the edit. Halle Berry as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that one. Bull, whatever. Anyway, so she's done a lot of stuff, and I just reached out to her with a script and a pitch deck, and I said, hey, can you do this? And she was super gung-ho about it. So,
oh my goodness.
And then Birdie was hard to find. I had originally cast a different little boy, but we wanted to be an all, vaccinated, fully 100% vaccinated set. So the little boy we had cast, his mom was not vaccinated, and he was the right age to be vaccinated, and he wasn't. So 2 days before production, we were like scrambling. We worked with a really good casting director, Alan Luna, who does a lot of the Latinx big projects actually in Hollywood right now, and he helped us find this Birdie.
Oh my goodness, and they were just doing so well on the red carpet yesterday, my God. I think it just all really just works so well in sync. But I mean, again, you had a lot of incredible choreography in there as well. Like, I was just like so mesmerized and moved. Do you have a certain choreography you use? Because it was so effective. It was so great to watch.
I love that. So I actually used a choreographer. Her name is Reina Hidalgo. She's Cuban as well, and her partner, Asiel Hardison. I've actually known Reina for a long time. I don't know, like, I used to do spoken word. I still do it sometimes. And she was having this fundraiser, and she invited me to do spoken word for her fundraiser back in, like, I don't know, 2006 or 2007. And I've sort of always admired her career as a fellow Cuban creative, and I love her work. She understands the Cuban culture, but she's also hip and modern. And I knew right away when I was doing this project, like, I had to hit her up and be like, hey, you need to help me choreograph this.
Oh, it was brilliant.
I
like,
know, she did an amazing job.
I mean, listen, there's so many components to this. You put so much work into it, and it's really clear to show for you, from the kind of anyone that's a filmmaker that's watching, what was kind of what was the most challenging thing that you kind of experienced?
The most challenging thing, okay, so the first day on set, our equipment truck was 4 hours late.
Oh no.
So, and that was the most expensive set that we had paid for.
Yeah.
It was a theater. And it was the most work that we needed the little boy to do, because he needed to sing, dance, act, do magic. And it was all on the first day, and that cut our day short, very, very short. So we ended up needing a pickup day because of this.
Yeah.
And other challenging things, because the young boy had never acted before.
Can believe that.
When we would say action, sometimes he would become kind of shy, or he would get into this role that he thought he needed to portray. And then when we'd say cut, he would be this like beautiful, like Birdie alive. And so there were times where we had to like trick things so we could get
Yeah.
these genuine, beautiful
Yeah.
moments that he was absolutely capable of doing.
Yeah.
But he had never been in like this sort of
Yeah.
high stress pressure situation before.
And that's quite a role to take on as your first acting role as well.
Oh
so,
my God,
you know,
and he
my
did an
goodness.
amazing job.
So good, so
Like,
so good.
I can't sing, dance, do magic, and act all at the same time. It's
I
like-
mean, mesmerizing. Now, I mean, your film, seeing this on the big screen, I was in there yesterday at the Academy's home, you know, with us at NewFilmmakers LA in this wonderful audience. How was that experience for you?
It was amazing. I mean, I had just come off of doing the Academy Filmmaker Accelerator Lab.
Yeah.
So I spent about 6 weeks working, through this program with the Academy.
Second home, you know, yeah.
Literally second home. And what I love about the Academy and what they're trying to do right now is that they're really trying to become more accessible to people of color.
Yeah.
And to show like it's not that far for you to have this as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important because historically the Academy is very white
Yeah,
and very
absolutely.
older and very male.
Yeah.
Or white women. But and so they're making this effort to like rejuvenate themselves and be very inclusive, and I am so grateful to them.
Yeah.
And obviously, the NewFilmmakers LA, like I had never had anything with you guys, and as I was telling you before the interview, just the humility and the kindness and the openness, it's exactly the kind of industry that I want to be a part of. And
Yeah.
sometimes I am a little bit disheartened, like I can't not make film because that's what I love to do, but sometimes working within an industry where the energy isn't quite what I'm used to or what I want to surround myself with, to be completely honest, is a bit disheartening. But having the Academy and having NewFilmmakers LA and seeing the humility and the gratitude and the kindness and just the willingness to support is really special, actually.
Well, I'm glad that you feel, and that's all you deserve as well. And you obviously clearly created that for you and your cast and crew on set. I mean, it's clear to show when someone's enjoying themselves from a filmmaker. So it's a well done on that. For any, with that being said, for any filmmakers out there, do you have any advice that you could share, particularly people that are pushing the industry, particularly people in the Latinx community? Because you did such a great job. You're doing it. What do you go by? What's your pick up every day?
So I hold myself to very high standards, and I hold everyone to very high standards. So think of every little detail. Directing is not just directing the actors. It's not just going on set. It's all the creative stuff that you prep, and it's all the post work that you do. Like the reason it looks so beautiful is because I spent so much time doing the color in post or editing to create a certain tone. Or don't take for granted any single one part of your department, because everything comes together and everything has the power to enhance your vision and your story. So that would be one thing. And then the other thing I would say, I mean, I just don't want to say what I hear people say all the time, like just pick up a phone and shoot something.
Yeah.
Because I think that's not the
Yeah.
best advice. Personally, I think be grounded in the kinds of stories that you want to tell, and be really authentic in what you want to tell. Don't tell a Latinx story because that's what's cool right now, or just tell a heartfelt story that transcends ethnicity, that transcends race, that transcends because it's a human emotion, and that human emotion you will relate to, anyone will relate to, and that's what will shine.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do with everything that I do.
Well, I want to be Bertie the Brilliant when I grow up. So, no, honestly, really, really, really great. And I'm so glad you made those points, because we can't underestimate that at all. Absolutely. And anyone that's on your set should be very thankful. And I honestly watch Bertie the Brilliant because it is a masterclass from a filmmaker perspective to see the attention to detail you do.
I love that you're saying that, and I'll take the compliment.
Yeah.
But I really couldn't have done it without my team,
Your team.
and my cast and crew.
Team is everything, isn't
Yeah.
it? Team is everything.
And treating your team with respect
Yes.
and love, and being generous that they're there for you is
Yeah.
so important. That would
It's
be my other
not
bit of
hard,
advice.
is it? It's not hard
It's
to be
really not.
kind. And finally, what is next for you, Gabriela?
So I'm hoping to get I have a couple of short films coming up that I would love to get financing for.
Yes, okay, hint, hint. Yes.
And I have a feature film that's currently in turnaround at Netflix. So that's good and bad.
Yes, yeah.
Because that means that they're not making it, and now I'm trying to find a home for it. So that's happening. And then I have a feature film, which is a spoken word Spanglish adaptation of Midsummer Night's Dream that's in development with Macro and Mark Platt. And then I just sold a project with producer Paul Perez to Exile Content, which is like a heist story that I'm really excited to tell. So comedy.
Just so happy for you, so happy for you. And listen, thank you so much for making the effort to come halfway across the world to be here. But thank you for bringing us Bertie the Brilliant, and we're forever part of your family now, so we're supporting all of your projects. So thank you very much, Gabriela.
I love it. Thank you.
Gabriela, everybody.